Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation here, Thursday, December the 22nd. First reading is taken from 1 Samuel. When Hannah had weaned her son Samuel, she took him up with her, along with a 3-year-old bull, a measure of flour, and a skin of water. She brought him to the house of the Lord at Shiloh, and the child was young. They offer the sacrifice. Then she says, before it closes out, "Therefore I have lent this child to the Lord. As long as he lives, he is given to the Lord." Hannah left Samuel there for the Lord. It's really quite astounding. I'm always blown away by the fact that she prayed to the Lord for a child. She was barren. She got the child. And part of her prayer was, "I'll give him over to you." She kept her promise 3 years later. This is a real challenge, and I would say many people should be convicted today. Parents who give their child to the Lord in baptism, but they're not serious about it. They have their child baptized, but maybe that's the last time they go into church for years and years, or till First Confession, Communion, and then back again in confirmation. Hannah, 3 years later, she keeps her promise. She brings her child back, not only brings him back to the temple, she leaves him there. In this society, it was perhaps it was a rare thing, but not without precedent. But still, the point being that she fulfilled her promise. She had made that promise. It must have been very difficult to let that child go, to leave Samuel. But if she hadn't let Samuel, in this particular case, if she had kept such tight reins on him, perhaps he would never have been one of the greatest prophets in the history of Israel. So she fulfilled her promise and let God do his work in the child's life. Well, of course, this is a rare thing. Most parents don't have to make that kind of promise to let them go, meaning physically, but they do have to let them go in the sense that God owns your children. God owns your children. And God grants these children to you on loan. And it's very important to remember always to be good stewards. You know, you have them baptized, you swear an oath to raise them in the practice of the faith, which means you're practicing the faith. You're striving to the best of your abilities to fulfill that oath, because one day God will require, an answer, or an outcome as to how did you fulfill this oath. So you can, pray to Hannah that you are able to fulfill this, just as I have to pray in my own way that I fulfill the promises I made. It's a different way, but essentially at the heart of any promise is, I will follow through on this. That's what we need to pray for a lot. Okay, so over to the gospel is what I said yesterday. In those days, Mary set out to visit Elizabeth. After her greeting, Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has looked with favor on his lowly servant. Surely from this day all generations will call me blessed, for the Mighty One has done great things for me, and holy is his name." And then she continues on with what we call in Latin the Magnificat, or Mary's canticle of praise. My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord. Again, so many beautiful things here. She doesn't say, "Oh, no, Elizabeth, no, you shouldn't do that." No, she acknowledges that she is the mother of the Lord. My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord. She gives it all back to God. She doesn't try to keep it herself. My soul magnifies it back like a mirror. She gets it, but then she magnifies it back to the Lord. She gives it back to him. With the praise that's come at her, magnified by her own huge, big heart, which throws it back to God and says it really belongs to him. All the glory, all the honor belongs to him. And in response, she gets it all back. God glorifies his children when he knows that they won't keep it for themselves. Then they get to keep it because they won't keep it. You kind of get what I mean? That's what it means to possess without possessing. Because it is a mystery. But there's nobody happier in the world as somebody like that. Mary was the happiest person ever, because she didn't keep anything to herself, and yet she possessed everything in herself. She possessed the Holy Trinity in her soul. She was totally self-possessed. because she completely gave of herself to God. She allowed God to inhabit her 100%. So she magnifies the Lord. And that's what you and I really need to strive to do each and every day. It's a struggle for you and me because we're infected by and affected by sin. Original sin, our personal sins, but we can overcome them by grace, by prayer, by the reception of the sacraments, and by always, always, always trying again, getting up, asking God to help us begin again, and then forward. God bless you.